Hello YouTube fans, here again. I remember doing the Golden Child, so I figured why not this one? Came out the same year, 1986. And for people that don't know, just think of Jack Burton on the Auto Express. That's right, that being the tacit Big Double in Little China. Say that again, Big Double in Little China. Now, at the time, John Carpenter, as we all know, the director that given us Halloween, he given us The Fog, he given us a lot of other date films. He gives us a lot of good films. That being John Carpenter, he did a lot of good films, Apollo 13 and all that. But at the time, I'm going to be open and honest, he did get a bad reputation when he did. One of my other favourites also starred Kurt Russell, that being The Thing. That's all it's about, The Thing. Now that's one of my favourite remakes, and you know what I think about remakes, but he got a lot of shit. Because at the time, even though I like E.T., I even had an E.T. toy, a teddy bear when I was a kid. No, I even had an E.T. teddy bear when I was a kid. But at the time, he should have won awards for that. He should have won awards for the effects, the physical effects, the expense, the story, and he didn't. And maybe it was a big mistake by Don Carpenter. So yeah, Don Carpenter, I knew it was warned and all this. He spat his dodo out. But this is a bit what pissed me off. It pissed me this because at the time he got a bad reputation of being a man, and this is what they said to him, the movie tickets, by the way, that you're an act of violence. You're an act of violence. Allow me to get peed off. No, allow me to be peed off. An act of fucking violence. No, 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 no. To the movie tickets, what insulted John Carpenter, this is what I'm going to say to him. Let me tell you, directors, what is an act of violence? Shit, what I reviewed not long ago. The Human Centipede films, they're an act of violence. The Saw movies, they're an act of violence. And let me think of other ones. What I think of an act of violence. Oh yeah, 1975, 100 Days of Sodom, which is a sodomizer shit. That, in my eyes, is an act of fucking violence. No, what else is an act of violence? The director what directed shit like a Soviet film. Shit like that is an act of violence. So I go on. So I go on. John Carpenter, in my eyes, is a talented director. He is a talented director. And it shows it. Look at the one I did, Starman. So at the time, he wanted to do something different than just be known to do horror. So then in 1986, he did this, Big Double in Little China. That's right, Big Double in Little China, starring Kurt Russell. Now, I know Kurt Russell's been in a lot of his films. You know, he was in a TV film, what was Elvis? Remember that? Where he played Elvis. And it was a good role for him, and I love it. Starts off, he got the same guy, who you might remember in The Golden Child, doing the story about what happened to Jack Burton, which it does, they added in. And then it got the epic bit of music. You've got a truck driver, again played by Kurt Russell, as Jack Burton. I also like the Chinese guy in it, who, funny enough, starred in another film, which I also reviewed, again done by John Carpenter, that being Prince of Darkness. And they're going to meet this Chinese dude on the way. And I don't like the Chinese guy because you think basically Kurt Russell's the main character, and really it's him. So it kind of turns really. The Chinese guy is the main character, but Jack Burton likes to think he is. And like I say, you got this Chinese dude, pretty teen eyes, and she gets adopted. You also get Tim Tuttle in this. This is Tim Tuttle I love. Before sets in the city and all that. Yeah, I did admit I did have a bit of a tuss on Tim Tuttle, which Slung Lad didn't. She was hot to look at in them days. She was funny, and she was hot. So she's in the film as a reporter, right? And there's a book teen lens on her eyes, I don't know, but there's teen eyes in this film. And you find out the guy who sold Penn has a hot for girls with teen eyes, not because they're pretty, it's because he wants to belong. This guy is 100 years old. And this is where you could say the similarities to the Golden Child. It has similarities because it's to do with black magic, demons, and all the myths but we're using that error. And I've got to admit that Big Trouble in Little China does run at a really good pace. It runs at a pretty fast pace. For martial arts and action films, this runs at a damn good pace. And like the Golden Child, I have got the DVD, just can't remember where I put it. It's somewhere around, but one thing I will just gently sensitive thoughts. I do love the fact they kept the original art cover. If I can find it, I'll show it one day. It sells the film. It sells it. You know what else I love about Con Carpenter? He actually did the music video. Remember the music video? Big Trouble in Little China. Well, he actually did the music video. If I thought I was bad at singing, he's bad, but I love it. It's just so 80s and it's just so cool. I love the special effects in it. How I fucking miss practical special effects. And remember when I was talking about Soldier and Assassin and the Masters of Death and all that? It had to have been influenced from Soldier and Assassin, because you get similar villains, you get Storm, you get Lightning, you get all them lot who adopt the day with the magical powers. Now I do know there's a lot of deleted scenes in this, and there was an altered ending, and I just love to have the altered ending. You can find it, but I love to have a version with the altered ending, because the altered ending, I'll tell you anyway. The thief dies what stole the Chinese door, right? Jack Burton, and I mean, you see what happens is, right? Jack Burton sees the ones what adopted the Chinese door, gets a tuck, and knocks the fuckers in water. Knocks them in water. But sadly, it was a deleted scene and an altered ending. And it had left a little bit of a bait with this big monster in the film, because you get a big monster what kidnaps Tim Tatel, as well as the Chinese do, and they get these magical powers. And what happens is Kurt Russell outsmarts the villain, which we also remember was in The Golden Child. I love the scene where he has a knife, folds it, misses it, and the villain says, "It's a nice knife. Goodbye, Jack." Folds the knife. He gets the knife back, folds it, stabs the fucker, and dies. It's not a bit miserly. He dies easy. I just visited it in the original deleted ending on how he died. Again, I love one of the other villains where he gets bid and bid and bid until it explodes. Good practical effects. I won't miss them errors. And it's a good film. I love Big Trouble in Little China. I love it. It's a good film, has a lot of imagination, something what films nowadays is lacking. And what really pisses me off? What pisses me off, they never made a sequel. They never made a bloody sequel, and I think they should have done. I know there've been comic books and so on, and sadly to say, I've even heard rumours they were going to remake it with The Rock. Now, don't get me wrong, I like The Rock. I like the days when he did wrestling. If you're gonna, and The Rock says he's a big fan of Big Trouble in Little China. All I can say to that is, don't remake it. Make a sequel. Make a sequel. Why not? Big Trouble in Mexico or something. With Kurt Russell, plays in this role, it's Jack Burton, and maybe have The Rock in it. Why waste money, Hollywood? Why waste fucking money making a fucking remake? Hopefully, though, that will not be in the rings, because you cannot be a classic like that with Jack Burton. And you know what? You know what? I almost cried when this film got made. I cried. You know why I cry when I see this film? I should say. You know why I cry? Because they don't make films like this anymore. Just like The Golden Child, they do not make films like Big Trouble, Little China anymore. And it's a blood insane. It's a blood insane. This film bombed, just like The Golden Child, but over the years, it's got a fan base. It's got a fan base, and I can see why. I can see why. I don't see no faults in Big Trouble in Little China, and as Jack Burton says on the Auto Express, see you later.